Hello everyone, this is part 2 of What If Naruto Trained Hinata, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. It was 8:30 in the morning and Hinata stood at the front gate of Konoha for the past hour. I knew he would be late, but this is going too far, maybe I should go look for him, Hinata thought as she sat down leaning against the wall. Hinata. Sorry for being late, Naruto yelled when he came running up with the same big travel bag Hinata was carrying. I overdid the morning exercise weights and came stuck to the ground. Naruto smirked as he walked towards Hinata, which stood up and began checking if they were ready to go. Anno, what direction do we need to go to? Or what roads do we need to follow? Naruto said as he began walking the main road. We need to follow this road to the first town, then head east along the road, or we could go directly northeast from here. See our travel time down with 2 days, Hinata said professionally as she showed Naruto the map. We'll take the road, we don't need to hurry, and that way we got more time for each other, Naruto smiled while walking away. Hinata quickly followed, giggling. What is he doing? Ever since I woke up at the Hokage's office he acts different than before, Hinata thought. Naruto, what happened in the Hokage's office? She asked. Naruto suddenly stopped and turned around. WWWYUAA asked at Hinata-chan. Naruto said, not daring to turn around. Oh no, she figured it out. What should I do? Exclamation mark quote. Naruto hastily thought as he continued walking, trying to avoid looking at Hinata. Well, ever since I woke up there you're looking at me at a strange way and you're acting weird, Hinata continued. I don't know what you mean, Hinata, maybe it's just that I'm excited for the mission. But Hinata didn't fell for it. I know you better than this, Naruto-kun, what are you hiding? She asked, now enjoying herself as she saw that he was trying to hide something probably important. Hokage-sama must have told you something, hasn't she? She grinned. Is it something secret? Hinata now walked next to Naruto and shocked to herself she took his arm and held it so he couldn't look away as she smirked. Now tell me, or the next 2 weeks are going to be hell for your little arm. She laughed, and for the first time Naruto saw her laugh naturally, not embarrassing nor forced, just a normal laugh. Oh god, what is it today? First I keep waking up thinking of her and now I can feel my arm burning, yet I feel like I'd if she let go of my arm, Naruto thought, confused by the feeling he never felt before. I can't say, S-rank secret, Naruto stuttered as he began to get comfortable with Hinata hanging at his arm. Yay right, you'll have to do better than that. The window was open as was the door and you just happened to be there and weren't summoned at all, as was Sakura, Hinata said. She knew this day was going to be good. I'll tell you if you promise me one thing, Naruto said. Promise what? Hinata asked. Promise me that you won't ask about it for 1 week. Naruto said, somewhat evil smirking. Hinata, burning to know this secret, quickly responded, I won't tell you nor anyone else about anything that happened in the Hokage's office while I was asleep. Naruto began laughing as she felt something was wrong. Alright then, since you're not going to ask for a week I won't tell you what happened. Naruto laughed even louder, scaring some birds away. Hinata became red and let go of his arm. Damn, maybe I should have told her, he directly thought when he felt the warm feeling leave his arm. Not fair. You would tell me if I promised, she said as she became even redder, yet she smiled. I think it was worth it. I've never seen her act so open before, Naruto thought as he smiled. Life's not fair, especially if you're a ninja. He winked her before he burst out into laughter. As promised, I'll tell you in 1 week, Naruto said, closing the conversation. That day they walked the long road and around noon they stopped near a small waterfall, spring in the northern mountains of the Land of Fire. I'll make a small fire so we can make some hot food. Could you get some water for thee, Hinata-chan? Naruto said as he gathered some wood and stones and built a fire and a place to heat and 2 hollow bamboo branches for thee. He formed some seals and whispered, Cider snake no jutsu. He blew a small cloud of steam, forming a very small snake that quickly jumped to the wood, setting it on fire before crawling all over the wood until it was covered in flames when it lay down and began mixing with the flames. That's a handy jutsu. Did you learn that during your training, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked as she just arrived holding the 2 bamboo sticks filled with water. Yay. Ero Senin was always too lazy to cook, so I learned it from him so that I could cook every day. Because of those 2 years of cooking, I also learned how to make some nice food from plants, herbs, and whatever we could find around us, as we were most of the time far from cities. Naruto smiled while sitting down and getting some food out of his pack. He changed even more than I thought. Naruto-kun is the best. Hinata thought as she sat down next to him, asking, "What's on the menu then, chef?" Smiling, Naruto replied, "Sorry, secret, you'll have to taste it or get a rank clarification code." Hinata understood that he was aiming at the secret earlier that day. Maybe I should just find out now. No, sorry, it was my fault. The rest of the noon they sat eating and drinking silently as they kept their faces red enough for the other to notice, yet not enough to make it embarrassing. An hour later they were done cleaning up the spot, leaving no evidence of them ever being there. They left for the last few miles north until they found the road to the east. Once they went a few hours east, they came across a town and decided to eat there before going further east, as the village where they should pick up the package would be reached the next morning. "Naruto-kun, what would you like for dinner?" Hinata asked while they walked around the small town and looking at the several shops to eat. "HMPF. They don't even got a ramen shop," Naruto muttered. "Looks like that place over there is popular. Feeling ready for some sushi, Hinata-chan?" Naruto said as he checked the menu that was hanging outside. "Hi, I'd love to," Hinata said as they walked in and sat down at a small table. Hinata pulled the map out of her bag and they began discussing the route for the next day as they were interrupted. "Good eve, sir, Malady, can I help you?" the waiter asked as he showed them both the menu and continued. "The chef's speciality is the special sushi dish, which I can highly recommend." They both ordered the speciality and continued planning. "Naruto-kun, can we go past the village north, just a bit north of the one we need to pick up the package? Tenten asked me to deliver this letter there as there was some famous weaponsmith living there. She has a 10-page explanation about a special weapon she wants, and money shouldn't be a problem," she said, as they both received and began the dinner. "Sure we can," Naruto said while filling his mouth with sushi. "It's not far away from the main road and we got all the time we need," Naruto said as he stuffed even more sushi inside. Hinata, watching this, laughed a bit before saying, "Nobody ever learned you table manners, Naruto-kun." She giggled as he suddenly stopped and tried to cover his full mouth and wiped it clean. "I always lived alone, so nobody ever told me how to act," Naruto said, a bit depressed. "Oh no, I've made him sad," Hinata thought as she quickly stood up and sat next to him. She said, "I'll teach you." The rest of the dinner they had fun while she tried to make him eat more civilized. After the meal, Naruto insisted on paying as it was his idea, and they left the town to hit the road again, not stopping until the sun was almost set. They spotted a small stream behind the trees and decided to put up the tent. Naruto made another fire and they set up the tent together. The next morning Naruto woke up around 5:30. Hinata woke up as she found herself half out of the sleeping bag and she appeared to be alone again in the tent. Just when Naruto removed his training gear, he saw Hinata crawl out of the tent. She also seemed to be half asleep, so he went to her. "Ohayo, Hinata-chan," Naruto said while he came to her and she stretched out. "Ohayo, Naruto-kun, how long have you been awake?" she said quickly while she pulled out her jacket and put it on. "About an hour and a half. I'm just done doing the morning exercises. Shall I make us breakfast?" he replied as he walked over to the other side of the tent. "Okay," she squeaked. Seeing him, she became redder and followed him. "I'm glad you said that, else I had to throw it away." Naruto smiled while he walked to the fire where 2 plates lay with eggs and bacon on them. "How did you manage to keep those eggs whole?" Hinata asked, suddenly feeling how hungry she was. "Oh, that's easy. It's a little trick I learned from Ero Senin. I just got a small box in the bottom of my bag. It's made from solid metal and is filled with soft material on the inside, and it's enhanced with a special gravitational jutsu which I have to repeat every month to keep gravity to have a grip on the items inside. So unless I shake it wildly inside, nothing will happen." Naruto smiled while starting his eggs, trying to impress Hinata with his newfound civilized eating. Just as he was halfway, he saw she was really hungry and she ate like she haven't eaten in days. At the sight of it, he felt about to burst into laughter when he as well noticed how hungry he was. They enjoyed the meal and ended up with making another one as they started to get more and more used to being around each other without blushing or fainting. Hinata, however, still had the standard crimson red face. After they cleared their camp spot, they were ready to leave as they set off the last few miles to the village. After around an hour, they found the village and they went to the biggest house, as they were supposed to meet the leader of the village. As they knocked on the door, a guards opened, saw their headbands and asked them in. "I reckon you're the genin we asked for," he said as he shut the gate behind them. "Hi," they both said, and the guard led them to the main building. "The Lord is in a meeting at the moment, but I'll show you the guest rooms and a servant will bring you the," he said to the air in front of him as he opened a door and bowed down deeply. When they entered, he closed the door and he walked away. "Could you check how this guy is doing, Hinata-chan?" Naruto asked as he lay his backpack down. "Byakugan," Hinata said as the veins around her eyes grew bold and her iris took over her complete eye surface. After a few seconds, she let the veins grow their normal size and her iris as well. "He's just eating with his family and the guard just talked to him. He just sent his youngest son over to come and get us," she said as she looked at the door, and a second later it opened. "Good morning and may I welcome you to my father's home," he said as he gave a little nod. "My father invites you to our table in the main living chamber," he said as he turned around, giving another nod meaning them to follow him. As they followed him, he continued, "I am the youngest son and my name is Kuro," he said, and then he opened the door to the chamber where the rest of the family was. There were two young twin girls around the age of 7, another boy a year older than the one that came to get them, which was around 10, and another even older man around the age of 16. Next to him sat his mother and at the head of the table his father. "Welcome, welcome, make yourself comfortable. I'm sorry the guard sent you to the guest room. He thinks it's a bit inappropriate to join the leader of a village as he is with his family eating breakfast, but the matter we must discuss is of an urgent one and I can't now, can I?" The Lord laughed as he pointed to two seats across the table that were still free. Hinata and Naruto sat down as they were immediately handed 2 cups of the arigato, they both said as another servant walked into the room carrying a small box. "This right here is the to be delivered package. It contains 2 scrolls and some old memories. It's nothing much and not really valuable, but it's to an old friend of mine, and seeing a small secret package from Lord to Lord, it may be attacked, so I hope you can hold it safe," he said as he took over the box from a servant and lay it in front of him. He opened the box and the inside was blue silk with upon it 2 sealed scrolls, both in a cylinder-like beautiful container made from copper, and there was a small necklace with a lotus flower and one with a small bird, both made for a fine silver, and the lotus had a blue gem in its middle as the bird had the same kind and size in its eye. "These were the chains of our brothers which we both lost in combat nearby here. It's an family tradition that the oldest brothers carry them," he said as he showed them both before he closed the box and handed it over to Naruto. "Please take care of it. I've once protected it with my life." Naruto carefully took the box as he put it safe in the middle of his bag in a special container. "Don't worry, it won't come to that, and if it would, we're the strongest genin alive. Since we were unable to join the Chunin exam, we are actually Junin rank and we'll get that rank in about 20 days, Naruto said as he stood up and smiled while helping Hinata get up. "We will make sure it arrives safely, Lord Sama." Hinata followed Naruto in his sentence as they were about to walk out. "I'm sorry, but we need to deliver this as fast as possible, so if you'll excuse us," Naruto said. They both bowed down and thanked for the as they left the mansion. They returned to the main road north to find the weaponsmith for Tenten. After about 3 hours of walking, they found a spot to get some water as they made some lunch, and they continued, and after another hour they reached the border of the village. As they walked in, they saw smoke coming from a lot of the houses as they noticed a sign saying "Welcome to Shuren Village, home of the best blacksmiths, armor smiths and weaponsmiths of the country of fire." "I guess we're at the right place, Hinata-chan," Naruto muttered, amazed by the many blacksmith shops and how crowded it was for such a small village. After asking around, they easily found the man they were looking, as Hinata also received a picture of him and his daughter in their shop from Tenten. "His daughter looks cute in that apron, weird but cute," Naruto laughed. After a few minutes walking, they found his house and knocked the door. "I'm in the back," a voice yelled from behind the small building, and they walked around to find a huge shed filled with weapons and tools to make them. An old man resembling the man on the picture except for his white instead of black hair, and a grown woman working who resembled the girl on the picture. "Ano, are you Ataku Anbu?" Hinata shyly asked the old man as she moved closer to him. "Yes, that's me, and you appear to be shinobi," Came here to let me craft you a weapon, I presume. Well, I don't just work for anyone you know. The old geezer laughed while he worked on. A friend of mine sent me here to ask you to craft a weapon for her. She is a skilled ninja in our village and a weapon master amongst our ranks, Anbu-sama, Hinata said cool. A friend you say, and does this friend happen to have a name? Young lady Hyuga. The old man laughed as he stopped working and looked at the two customers when he noticed Naruto. Why you? Why have you come here again? He gasped at seeing Naruto's face. Naruto, being confused, said, What do you mean, old man? I've never come to this village in my life. Maybe, the man said. Maybe it was your father. Tell me what's your name, he implied, looking at Naruto with a face serious enough to kill a joke. I am Uzumaki Naruto, sir, and I'm going to be the next Hokage. Naruto said while pointing his thumb and smiled. Must be. The old man muttered, Say you know a certain yondaime. The old geezer asked Naruto as he walked to a bookshelf where 3 books and many kunai and other dagger-like weapons lay. I never met him, but he was the 4th Hokage of our village. Why? Naruto asked. Years ago I met a boy about your age that looked like you except for the whisker marks that asked me to repair his special family swords. It was a twin sword set, the best work I ever saw, never saw them again. I thought you were his son, the man simply explained. After laughing, Naruto turned serious again. I don't think I am the son of Yondaime, sir, but I am not here to repair something but with my friend who needed a special weapon. Well then, I guess I'll make that weapon for you. What you need? He asked, walking over to Hinata as he laid down the old book he grabbed to see the information about Yondaime. Anno. I got a letter from her, it should explain everything she said to me, Hinata said as she opened her jacket and pulled out the big heavy envelope. Handing it over, the old man opened it and pulled out 10 large papers fully written both sides. It is her dream to receive this weapon and money is not a problem, she also said to me, Hinata continued as she took out another smaller envelope. She opened it, pulling out a small pile of cash and a note which said prepayment and a small picture of Tenten and her father both holding a bow staff. Is that Tenten? The old geezer asked while taking the picture and picking a tear from his eye before it could fall down. How do you know her name? Naruto asked as he looked at the picture over the old man's shoulder. I've been to Konoha once many years ago, to visit our old friend from when we were both simple blacksmiths from before the war, and I found him with his daughter who was just 9 years younger than my daughter, and her name was Tenten. Also she looked like this girl, the old man said as he continued, and my old friend is this man right here. So that's why. Anyways, could you make her that weapon, Anbu-sama? Naruto asked. Of course I'll make her the weapon, as long as I can make her happy I'll do it. As he walked away, beginning to read the pile of paper, crying out brilliant. Or so every now and then. His daughter walked up to them. Looks like he found another weapon to his heart. Last time he was like this I was just 5 years old and he had the swords from that Yondaime figure. She laughed as she took the money and the note as she said, Don't worry, I'll bring the weapon to Tenten as soon as it's done. Maybe Dad will come too. She smiled happily before they left for the main road again. As they set foot towards the border to deliver the package, they walked away towards the sunset. As they walked on for hours from the village, Hinata kept thinking of what the old geezer said. He compared Naruto to the 4th, but if you think of it, it seems weird. Not only does he look like the 4th, also he uses techniques only the 4th and his sensei could do, and he was born on the same day the 4th and the Kyuubi was defeated. Hinata thought. Not only that, but the Kyuubi was sealed inside him out of all people. Hinata continued. 3 years ago, just after the Chunin exam, Hinata walked up to the Hokage's office. She knocked and the new Hokage let her in. Good morning, Hinata, is it? Tsunade said while she continued her paperwork and just looked up for a second. Hi Hokage-sama, Hinata said while she walked up until she was right in front of the Hokage's desk. You wanted to see me about that boy Naruto, right? Tsunade asked as putting the large scroll aside as she sighed and leaned back. Hi Tsunade-sama. I'd like to ask why the whole village hates him and, Hinata firmly began but suddenly began to stutter as she looked to her feet and began to play with her fingers, and Tsunade said, thinking, damn, only 2 weeks Hokage and now already I get problems with the Kyuubi. She sighed and leaned back even more. Anno, A friend of me told me how odd it was that Naruto looked like the fourth, was born on the day he s, and also I thought he had those cute whisker marks as scars, but hearing that, Hinata began to say as she was already trembling because she said something cute about Naruto was against anyone else. Also it never happened before that a demon got K and the fourth may be very strong, he couldn't K1 by himself, right? She continued as the Hokage became a bit red, she somehow understands that he is sealed within him. Tsunade thought as she had to think of how to handle Hinata. Being a Hyuga she couldn't just lie to her, but she couldn't break the law either. Is the QB sealed inside Naruto-kun? Hinata suddenly whispered as she became red and looked down again. Hinata, you do not know about two laws that were set up by the third a month after the death of the fourth. This is because one of them includes being forbidden to speak about them unless you are Hokage, or if you are Naruto, she said as she leaned forward and looked straight at Hinata, forcing her to look at her. Why Naruto as well, Hokage-sama? Hinata asked, stunned by the exception of Naruto on a Hokage's word. Because the other rule said that it was forever forbidden for anyone to speak of the QB that was not K but sealed by the fourth, into a young boy who had just been born, Tsunade continued with a serious face, and this boy, because he still lives the village is safe, yet the villagers hated him, so the third made the rule so that the boy would at least have normal friends. Hinata, being shocked by the news, was pressed to the heart never to speak with anyone about it unless Naruto or the Hokage approved. End flashback. And who else than your own son would you choose to become the host of a powerful demon because you knew he would be powerful enough to contain him? It suddenly hit Hinata. Naruto is unknowingly the son of the fourth Hokage. Quote. Hey Hinata, why did you suddenly stop? You look like you just saw a ghost. Naruto smirked as he walked back to Hinata, who stopped a few meters back. Hinata-chan? Naruto asked as he looked at her, almost said it but was stopped by his eyes looking at hers, deeply concerned. I'm okay, I just thought of something, never mind it, she answered. Are you sure? You look kinda pale Hinata-chan, Naruto said as he began worrying. Maybe we should set up camp here and look for something to eat, she said as she looked around and saw an open spot between the trees and hearted a river close by. Of course, we didn't eat anything and it's way past dinner time. I'm sorry Hinata, it's my fault, Naruto said as he ran off to set up camp at the same spot Hinata pointed out. They sat and ate some fish that Naruto caught, and after that they set up the camp. We can use this time to spar a little, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she stood up and looked down on Naruto, who was just done with the last fish. Alright, I was just thinking about training a bit. Naruto laughed as he pulled off his long leather coat and walked towards the road where there was plenty of space. Both exhausted, Hinata lay down next to the fire as Naruto couldn't control himself and he just lay down just a few inches away from Hinata. Maybe I can try her to come forward with her feelings tonight, Naruto smirked as he got even closer to Hinata. Naruto turned to Hinata as he took a serious face and tapped her on the shoulder. I felt something the last few days that I've never felt before, he began. I didn't know what it was for sure until I woke up yesterday, he said as he looked into her eyes and he drew his head close to Hinata. I think, he pushed his head past hers until he reached her ear and he whispered, I think I love you Hinata-kun. Hinata fainted. The fire was just slowly burning and it seemed like just half an hour since they fought as she saw Naruto's little wounds healed and hers didn't. She blushed like mad because she began to remember what happened. He told me he loved me, he loves me. Hinata could almost scream it out but she didn't as she tried to feel comfortable with the idea of them being a couple. But before she could think of anything, Naruto woke up as he suddenly felt a cold spot on his front side as Hinata sat a little straighter up. Hinata, you woke up, Naruto smiled, half sleeping. I hope I didn't scare you too much with my little confession as I couldn't think of a better time to tell you, he smiled. It's really true, he really loves me. Hinata thought as she almost lost control. Naruto, of course still being a bit misunderstanding about girls, thought she was crying for different reasons and immediately began to apologize. I'm sorry Hinata-chan, I didn't mean it that way, I'm sorry that I said it to you, he began as Hinata looked up, her face a crimson red that would made be jealous. I loved you ever since I first saw you Naruto-kun. She cried. For the first time in his life he felt this good as Hinata wouldn't be happier. They smiled both and said nothing. The next morning Hinata woke up. That morning Naruto did only half of his morning training. The is almost ready Naruto-kun. Hinata yelled as she walked to the stream to watch Naruto exercise with the weights and some simple water clones. I'll be right there, Hinata-kun. Is it okay to call you kun? Naruto asked as he counted the last blow and stopped the water clone. SS sure, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she blushed and walked beside him after he unequipped the weights. Say, Hinata, do you have any training weights? Naruto asked, looking at the scroll he just sealed the weights in. I got some in my vest, but it's nothing special, and also around the same amount in my pants. I wear it daily, she replied. Nothing special? How much is nothing special to you, Hinata-kun? I know Lee thinks 500 pounds on each limb is normal. Naruto laughed of Lee's strength and sat down next to Hinata, who just poured some tea into his cup. It's nothing special, just the standard I got from Kurenai-sensei, she replied when she grew a little red on her cheeks. A big cloud of dust flew up and they both were blinded. When the dust screen faded, Naruto saw a dark crimson-red Hinata wearing the vest again as she helped him up. I try not to overdo it, but Kurenai-sensei says I need to increase the weight at least once a month, she almost whispered as he sat up again, still shocked by the raw power she was holding up every moment. TTT, that's impossible. Naruto cried out. That must be over 800 pounds in your vest alone. Naruto continued estimating the weight and calculating his own now shameful mere 950 pounds of the total set. It's not that much, it's just 600 in my vest and another 450 pounds in my pants and shoes, Hinata said as she took a nip from her drink. Since when did you train this hard, Hinata-kun? Naruto said as he started his fish. When you left, I asked Kurenai-sensei to train me more and better as I wanted to be able to train with you when you came back, Hinata said while beginning to blush less and less. And now after 2 years of hard training I can even spar with you. Hinata smiled as she looked at Naruto and continued eating their fish. They cleaned up the camp and set out to go towards the place of delivery when they came across an old man who was carrying a large bag and walking slow. Oi, Ji-san, Naruto began, need help carrying that bag of yours? Single quote dot. You look like a strong young man, care to help an old geezer out with his bag? The old man smiled as he sat down, letting the bag fall beside him. Of course he will, Hinata smiled at the old man. Where are you headed? She asked while she opened her bag. Here, have some water, she handed the old man a bottle. I need to follow this road for a day walking, then go north to find a village where my son lives, he said as he gave back the bottle after he took a little of it. That's great. We're heading the same way, only we need to go just a bit further. Naruto laughed as he took the bag and threw it over his shoulder. Anything else, Ji-san? He smiled while Hinata helped the poor old man up on his feet as they started walking again. So, you two a couple or just friends? The old man smirked, seeing Hinata grow a faint red, and Naruto grabbed the back of his head and started to look at Hinata from the corner of his eye. Ah, I see. You're not a couple quite yet, he laughed as he kicked a stone towards a tree. After a good 4 hours walking, the old man sat down on a rock asking for a break. Can we take a break here? The old man asked as he coughed a little and sat down to drink some water from the small river stream. Sure. Might as well make afternoon lunch while we're at it, Naruto said. I need to rest for a while, you can go on if you want. Tough, thanks for carrying my bag all this way. The old man smiled as Naruto pulled out his kunai again to catch some fish. It's no problem, we could carry you to the village if you want. Hinata began as she collected some fire for the fish to cook. Don't worry about us, Ji-san, our training gear weighs more than you could imagine, so it's no problem to take you along with us. Naruto smiled as he came back with 2 big fishes and 2 smaller ones. Suddenly the old man fell down and they both got to him as fast as they could. Ji-chan! Naruto yelled as he caught him before he'd hit the ground. Hinata quickly felt his forehead as she noticed the man was having a high fever. He is really sick, Naruto-kun, we need to take him to the village as soon as possible. Hinata said, and before she knew it, Naruto stood while holding the man as he said, clean up the camp and come after me as quickly as you can, I'll bring him to his son's village, and Naruto was gone. Naruto ran off as fast as he could, and in mere minutes he reached the village and jumped to the center of it as it started to rain. Someone help me, he yelled out as several people came walking over to him, and suddenly a voice came out of the crowd. What have you done to my father? Single quote. A young man came running up and tore the old man out of Naruto's grasp. Before Naruto could say anything, the man ran off to the biggest house with Naruto quickly following him. We found him on our way here and helped him carry his bags when he suddenly collapsed with a high fever. Naruto tried to explain as they stood in front of the house with the man screaming as he held his father closely. "Ba-chan, you have to help me, please help my father," he screamed as a few seconds later the door was opened by a young girl around the age of 15, letting them both in. They saw an old lady walking up to them. "What's all this fuss? Oh my, this isn't good. Quick Aoyam, prepare the table for this man," she said to the young girl as she nodded and disappeared into another room. "I need to know what happened," she said as she led them to the same door. Naruto began to explain what happened and they listened until they were in the room and the man was on the table. "Please wait outside until I finish or call you in," she said as she left and Naruto and the young man walked outside and sat down. "I guess I have to thank you for saving my father. If it wasn't for you maybe I wouldn't see him alive." And the man said as he turned to Naruto, "What's your name?" he asked while trying to force a smile on his face. "I am Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto smiled as he replied, "And you?" "I am Narayan Sita," he said while he leaned back to the wall as he closed his eyes. "You said we found him, who are with you?" he asked. "Oh no, I forgot about Hinata, she must be S," Naruto cried out while running to the door. Suddenly the young girl jumped out as she was listening to them and she held her umbrella. "Here, else you'll get wet." She blushed a bit when she handed Naruto a simple umbrella. "Arigato Aoyam-chan." He smiled as he ran outside, the umbrella in front of him as he ran so fast he just hit the drops in front, not atop of him. Hinata cleaned up the fire and threw away what was left over from the fish as she started jumping across the forest when it started to rain. "I hope Naruto-kun made it in time," she thought as she felt the rain starting to fall more. After about half an hour she saw the border of the village and wanted to jump in when she suddenly felt a hand grab her shoulder as she saw Naruto blushing lightly as he pulled her under the umbrella. I found his son and a medic is now treating him. Thank you for coming for me Naruto-kun," she whispered as she held onto his left arm firmly. They walked into the village and straight to the big mansion. Knocking on the front door, Aoyam opened as she blushed seeing Naruto with the girl on his arm while they both smiled. "Arigato for the umbrella Aoyam." Naruto smiled whilst he gave back the umbrella. "Could Hinata-kun change somewhere and fresh up?" he asked as she nodded and guided Hinata to another room in the mansion. Naruto walked to where he left Sita and found him smiling with some tea. "Any news?" he asked as he sat down and found a cup of tea ready for him. "She just came to see me. He will be fine but he needs a few days rest and he needs to stay here. Thanks again for saving him Naruto." Sita smiled as he continued, "I live nearby and own a small ramen stand. Can I give you a bowl out of gourd, or don't you like ramen?" he asked. Naruto jumped up and cheered, "Ramen ramen ramen, I'll go get Hinata-kun and then we can go." Naruto laughed as he drank the last of his tea and ran off. Must have liked ramen then." The man smiled while he stood up and went inside to room to talk to his father. "We shall go when the rain stops, all right Naruto," Sita said as he handed Hinata a cup of tea. "This house is owned by the village elder and she is also our best medic in town as you might have understood. It's just that she has something against B. What or why is something no one knows but we don't worry about it." He smiled as he sat down at the table in the main living room with the old lady Aoyam and Naruto and Hinata. "It's all right, I could treat him easily without even seeing any B at all." The old lady laughed out loud as she turned to Naruto. "Are you two by chance from Konoha?" she asked, pointing out the head protectors and smiling. "Yay, we're Konoha shinobi," Naruto said. "Tell me, do you know anyone by the name of Tsunade?" The old woman smiled as she saw the recognition on their faces. "She is our Hokage, leader of the village," Hinata said as she looked closely at the old lady. "Ah yes, I wouldn't think any less of her. I once lived in Konoha but the war was too much for me and I fled into this small village where I lived ever since. Tsunade is my cousin and I learned her much of the things I know," she said while her eyes faded in memory. After an hour the rain stopped and Naruto jumped up out of joy for the upcoming ramen. Sita showed them his shop and after a good bowl of ramen, although not as good as Ichiraku ramen, they enjoyed it and said goodbye to the old man as they set off to another day trip further towards the goal. Also they received an umbrella from Aoyam. That night they set up the camp in a small cave they found along the road. The next day started out usual with when they woke up he did his exercise while Hinata took care of the breakfast. During breakfast they planned the trip for the day and found that because of the running the day before they had just 3 days of walking left before they would meet the man to deliver the package as Naruto began to think. Anno, what would you say if we just run there today and be back in Konoha tomorrow, Hinata-kun? Naruto asked. Oh no, he wants to go back sooner than first planned, now I can't be with him all the time. Hinata almost panicked until she saw Naruto smirk while he watched her. Because I thought we could take some days off then and report back after the next week, like they expected us to do, he said while he winked and continued. Hinata, now relieved, began to think of the possibility and nodded yes. Naruto smiled and after 10 minutes they were done packing and for the normal eye they both suddenly vanished as they launched themselves towards the goal. Know that, the faster they were done the more they could be with each other. That night they arrived at the village and found the biggest mansion they could find to knock on its gate. The guard opened the gate a tiny bit to see who it was and opened when he saw the leaf emblem on the forehead. Protectors, welcome, we received word of you two coming, the guard said as he led him to the main building. Wait here, he said as he showed a simple room with a small table in it and 2 cups of tea waiting for them still steaming hot. I'll notify the lord of your arrival, as he closed the door behind him. Naruto looked towards Hinata who nodded and silently activated her Byakugan. She stood still for a few seconds when she suddenly started laughing and released the jutsu. What happened? Naruto asked, a bit confused, but before he could say anything Hinata held her finger to her mouth while she walked backwards to a wall. She sat down and turned around to look right into a small eye. Got you. She laughed as she opened the door, wall and pulled a young boy into the room. She asked with a serious face, causing the boy to blush and look at his feet. I'd better answer her or she'll look into your mind. Naruto laughed, winking to Hinata who understood what he was saying. The boy looked up fearfully to suddenly see 2 big white irises covering the whole eyes while all veins were big and pumping like mad. He screamed a bit as he crawled backwards. Hinata and Naruto both laughed as Naruto picked up the boy and whispered, don't worry, she's real nice, sometimes just a bit scary, as he smiled and pat him on his head. Now, tell me your name and why you were spying on us. The boy confessed and seemed to be the oldest son of the lord, named Kankoni, and he wanted to see who the guests were. After that they explained who and what they were and made some fun until the door opened. Papa! The boy yelled out and ran towards the man that was standing there as the boy jumped up to him and held his robe tightly. These shinobi are funny, he smiled. Very well then, I'll have to invite you to lunch tomorrow morning, seeing it is way past dinner time, he snapped towards his son with an evil smirk on his face. We'll discuss the package tomorrow, a servant will show you to your room, although I expected 2 men sir, I only had 1 room prepared, should I make another one? He asked as he picked his son up. Naruto and Hinata both said, no don't, we're just team members. After a second they both blushed and looked away from each other. The lord grinned and walked away. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.